Hi everyone, we're going to compose functions and we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. The first things I want to do, since they didn't give you H inverse and G inverse, we're going to go ahead and do those first. So I'm going to do H inverse first, and I'm going to write it first with Y. And for inverses, you just switch the X and the Y's. So there you have your inverse. However, we want to solve for Y, so I'm just going to go ahead and cross multiply. So you get X times 2Y minus 4 equals 5Y. You distribute here. And then group your Y's together. Put them on the right. And move that 4X on the left. Factor out a Y. Get 2X minus 5 equals 4X. And then you're going to divide both sides by 2x minus 5. So your y equals 4x over 2x minus 5. And that's your inverse. All right. Now the second one is this one. So we'll start with that. Change it to, start here. Y equals 4x squared minus 9. Where x has to be positive on this one. Switch the x and the y's. And then you solve for y. So I'm going to add the 9. Divide by 4. Oh, let me do this. Now divide by 4. And square root both sides. So when you square root, you get y equals plus or minus square root of x plus 9 over 4. Now what we need is this quantity inside here to be greater than 0. So basically x has to be greater than or equal to negative 9. Okay, because you can't have a negative when we're talking about real numbers. You can't have negative inside the radical. So that's your domain. This one we forgot to state the domain. On this one, the denominator can't be 0, so you just set this, that can't be 0. So x cannot be 5 over 2. All right? So there's your domains, and now all we have to do is 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, so get started. We're going to do the first one. We want g f of negative 2. And sometimes I like to write it like that. So I'm going to plug in negative 2 into my f. So this will be 3 times negative 2 minus 1. And that's going to give me negative 7. And now I just plug it into my g, my outer function. So we have g of negative 7 equals 4 times negative 7 squared minus 9. So that's going to equal 4 times 49 minus 9. 4 times 49 is 196 minus 9. And that's going to be 187. Hopefully I did that right. I did that mentally. Subtract 10, add 1. All right. So there's that one. And this one, we do g f of x. So merely on this one, we're going to take our inner function, which is f of x, and plug it into our outer function. So that's all I'm going to do. I'm going to write down my outer function. And I'm going to just put parentheses for my x. And then plug in my 3x minus 1. And simplify that. If you use your factoring facts, we know this is like an a minus b squared. So that's going to be 9x squared minus 2ab, which is going to be 6x, and then square your b. Just remember that's a squared minus 2ab plus b squared, and then you have minus 9. Now we're going to simplify this, and there's no more square. Sorry about that. So now we're going to simplify, and this is 36x squared minus 24x plus 4 minus 9. So that's 36x squared minus 24x minus 5. All right. And we have another one. Okay, so I went ahead and wrote my inverse. Remember, x cannot be 5/2 because you can't divide by that. And now we just plug in negative 5. Everywhere there's an x. So we get negative 20 on the top in the numerator. Negative 10 minus 5 is negative 15. That's going to turn positive, and I can reduce that by 4/3. So just dividing both these pieces by 5. Yeah, that just made it worse. So anyway, just simplify that. Now next is the last one. We're going to compose h with f. So our inner function is f of x, and our outer function is h. So I'm putting my f of x into each of these x's here, into my h, which is my outer function. So I'm just going to merely write my h, but put parentheses where the x goes. And I'm going to dump in my 3x minus 1, just use substitution. And then we're going to clean this up by simplifying 15x minus 5 over 6x minus 2 minus 4. So we get 15x minus 5 over 6x minus 6. And if I use my highest common factor, factor out of 5, you get 3x minus 1. And in the denominator, I have a factor out of 6, get x minus 1. I don't know if that helps, but either way, both of these would be the correct answer. And that's all. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.